curiosity about you in India, where fans want to know a little bit more about your early years. Like, how did you get into wrestling, and how did you take it up in your early years as a young kid?
All right. So in my family, we really didn't watch any sports. My dad's a chemical engineer. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and they were more into the book learning and stuff like that. So we didn't watch any sports. And then one day when they were flipping through the TV, I saw pro wrestling. And that was it. I was probably 6 years old. And from that day on, I was wrestling my mom and dad. I was hitting leg drops on the pillows. I was suplexing everything I could suplex. We bought a trampoline. I'd invite my friends over. I'd fight my friends on the trampoline all the time. And I would say that's when, like, my real passion and love started growing for pro wrestling. I know they tell you not to do this at home, but I did this stuff at home a lot. Don't do it at home. But, but as a kid, I just loved this stuff so much. And that's when it started. Then I started doing amateur wrestling, and then I wrestled in college. Then started doing jiu-jitsu because I liked MMA, so I started doing jiu-jitsu. And then UFC, then all the way back now, back to pro wrestling. So I feel like my life from 6-year-old Matthew Riddle has done a full circle back to pro wrestling,
Wow.
So that's where the passion and love comes from early childhood, never being able to watch any sports, to one day seeing pro wrestling on the TV and being hooked the rest of my life.
Very nice, Matt. Nice, good to hear that. Matt, if I were to ask you, what's your biggest aim from your WWE career at the moment? What would that be?
My biggest aim?
Yeah.
I think my biggest aim right now, it's a tough one. I think my biggest aim right now is to let people know who I am. Right now, I just got invited to the SmackDown brand. I'm now on Friday nights on Fox. And I think right now, most people would say world title or this and that. I don't think the title makes the man makes the title. And I think what I need to do is I need to let people know who I am. I need to let people hear my voice, hear where I'm coming from, know the kind of guy I am. And then, because you're going to see my wrestling, you're going to see me in the ring. And trust me, once you see that, you're going to probably be a fan right there, because I don't hold back and I really lay it in on people. And it's pretty cool. But I think what people are lacking is they probably just think I'm just some random bro and I'm just this guy. But I'm a lot more complicated than that. There's a lot of pieces to this puzzle. You know what I'm saying? And I think my goal right now is to express myself as much as I can, from an emotional standpoint, from an excited standpoint, from a sad standpoint, from I want people to get to know me and know my characteristics so people can see how they can relate to me. Because I believe when I'm in the crowd with people all around the world, I relate to a lot of people and I'm very friendly. And I think once people can see that and feel that connection, the sky's the limit. That's my aim.
Thank you, Matt. Matt, also I want to ask you, so there are a lot of pictures on the internet where we see a very lean Matt a few years back, and now you bulked up a lot of muscle bulk up, and I think you put on around 40-45 pounds of muscle. So how did that transformation go on, and what was the idea behind bulking up and transforming your body?
All right. So I used to fight in the UFC, and I fought at 170 pounds, but I didn't weigh 170 pounds most of the time. Most of the time I weighed 180 to 190. Now I walk around about 210, 220. So I put on about, if you go from the weight class, you're like, oh man, he put on like 50, 60 pounds. But if you go from my actual natural weight, I probably put on about 20 to 30 pounds. Okay. For me, it was just a health thing. I'm 6'2", and I was just extremely skinny and frail at 170 pounds. Even when I fought, I had a lot of injuries in the UFC because I would break my hand. I'd break a lot because I was brittle. I was too dehydrated and I didn't have enough vitamins and everything else. Now I walk around about 210. I eat whatever I want. I drink whatever I want. I lift a lot of weights though. I train very hard, and I've noticed now I'm at my healthy weight. So I wouldn't say it was a goal of bulking up. I just wanted to get stronger, and I wanted to get to a certain weight where I knew I was healthy, because being a sports entertainer, being a pro wrestler, a lot of times we get in accidents, like, a suplex up the top rope. Well, that's like getting into a car accident and stuff like that. And my goal is how can I take this damage and be okay? And to be as healthy as possible. Get your nutrition up, get your muscles up, get your strength up, your conditioning up. And that's how you can maintain. That's why there's certain guys that can do this for 20, 30 years and other people that can only do it for 5, And you have to train accordingly and prepare yourself mentally and physically for this stuff,
Sure.
So that was the idea behind bulking and stuff. And honestly, I bulked up mostly. I stopped cutting weight and I lifted some more weights. I really didn't do much more.
Okay.
No supplements. No supplements.
That's
I know, it's hard to believe. El Natural. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Awesome. Good. So Matt, one more thing which I wanted to ask you was a lot of questions from your fans in India. Who was your wrestling idol? How did you take up the sport? Whom did you look up to? If there's any one name you want to take, who would it be?
I would say, there's a couple, and I would probably fuse them all together. But if I had to pick one, Shawn Michaels is probably the number one. But you got Bret Hart's right up there, Kurt Angle's right up there, And because my thing is this, I like really good, hard-hitting, technical wrestling. I wasn't one of the fans when I was a kid that was like, I wasn't really into the spectacle or the showmanship. I was into the sport aspect of professional wrestling, and that's what I pride myself on. Even if I can be a goofball or make you laugh or make you smile or make you mad, I can do all those. But my thing is, my passion, my love lies in the ring. It lies in my body of work. And that's why I was such a huge fan of somebody like Bret Hart, who I personally don't think cuts the best promo. But if you watched him in the ring, from backbreaker to suplex to everything he did to strike, everything looked like it was a million miles per hour, and he was throwing everything he had into every shot. And that's the kind of wrestling I like. Same thing with Kurt Angle, and
that's great. Thanks, Matt. Matt, also want to understand from you. So currently we are going through the coronavirus pandemic, and it's affected all over the world. So coming from a training perspective, how has your training changed in the last 2 or 3 months, keeping in mind the pandemic and the safety measures and everything that you have to take? So any changes in your training or your prepping up?
There has been some changes. I'll be honest, I don't work out as much as you probably think I do. I'm kind of late. I don't want to admit this to the world, but I'm kind of lazy. I kind of get away with a lot, probably because I used to train a lot when I was younger. But I still train, and honestly, it hasn't changed too much. I mean, before I'd go to the gym a little bit more and lift a little heavier. Now I don't have the ability to lift as heavy because I don't, want to break my house, nor do I have that heavy of equipment. But I've noticed this: push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, squats, stuff like that, going for runs, sprints, stuff like that, will keep you in world-class shape. And if you're trying to put on size, like we talked about earlier, you can just do more push-ups, more pull-ups, more sit-ups, more everything, and just eat more food, and you'll get bigger. It's just hard work. That's all that counts, So for me, nothing's really changed. I work out about 3 times a week. I got a heavy bag I can punch and suplex around. I got weights I can lift, like dumbbells. I got the Bowflex boys. I got some wrestling mats. I'll grab one of my kids and suplex them around, or grab the wife and put her in a headlock. So I can practice my wrestling. I can lift the weights. I can beat up a bag. Nothing's really changed. I got it all.
Great. Yeah. Nice, Matt. So, Matt, one more question from a lot of fans in India. So they're just curious, So, have you been ever to India, or have you seen any of the Indian Bollywood movies, or had Indian food? Anything regarding India that you would want to say?
Okay, so I love some Indian food. I love a lot of curries. I go to the buffet with my brother. We like the Indian food. The naan bread, right?
Yeah. Naan,
Yeah,
yeah.
I love me some naan bread. So I like Indian food. I haven't seen too many of the movies. I know some of the cultures though, because I wrestle with some of the Indian guys here at NXT, and they've taught me some of the things. So and they've all told me that I would love to come to India and that I need to take a trip as soon as I can. So I'll tell you this, it's definitely on the list, and honestly, I'm hoping WWE books like a tour in India, especially with all the fans we have there and everything. I think it would be crazy not to, and I'd be game for it. The bros saying it now. Let's go to India. Once this all blows over, the bros coming to India. Make it
Great.
happen.
Thank
SmackDown
you,
in
man.
India, bro.
Sure, Matt. You're most welcome. Please come soon.
I hope
So
so.
yeah. So Matt, coming to NXT Takeover, who do you think are the people to the wrestlers to look out for in the tournament, and like who can pull off an upset? What do you think about the big matches happening at Takeover?
I honestly, if we're talking about upsets, big matches, somebody you should be looking out for in the future, superstar, I would have to say right now, Damian Priest. He's going against Finn Balor. Finn Balor is one of the toughest guys in NXT. He's one of the most well-known superstars in the world. And I feel like Damian Priest has came up short the last couple times against Keith Lee and others. And I don't think he's going to want to come up short again against them. I think I think this is time for people to know his name, and I think they're going to have a world-class match. I think they're going to steal the show. I think looking at that card and knowing the matchups, I think that match steals the show. Finn Balor, Damian Priest steals the show. NXT in your house, right? Is it take over your house or take over in your house? It's in your
Takeover in
house.
your house. In your house. Yeah.
Take over in your house. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was in your house takeover. I'm not on this one. I'm usually on these takeovers. I'm not on
Yeah.
this one, so I didn't process it as much. But I think that's going to be the match to watch: Damian Priest versus Finn Balor.
Matt, just one last question I had, then I'll end it with this. Coming back to the pandemic and how everything has changed a bit. So wrestling indoors in an empty stadium, that's something new for everyone. So how has it had any impact on the way we wrestle in the ring, and has it affected any of our performances in the ring? Like obviously when you have a lot of crowd, the atmosphere is a little different than what we have right now. But
Yes,
so yeah,
and it does. When you have a live crowd, you get the energy of the crowd. You feel it. It's pretty intoxicating. It's one of the best feelings you'll ever have. But at the same time, I fought in the UFC. I did the Ultimate Fighter, where you fight in like a almost empty warehouse, but just like Dana White and a couple other people. So I'm used to doing these things. And for me, I kind of like it because it's you don't have to worry about the crowd per se. You don't have to worry about anything. You just have to focus on your match. And it kind of, for me, pro wrestling is sport, but it's so much fan related. So when you took the fans out of it, which stinks, but now I get to like kind of just focus back on wrestling. So if anything, I think it's made some of the wrestling better, but it's hard because you don't hear the crowd reacting.
yeah,
Sometimes I wish they just put like a track to it. Like those comedy shows, like a laugh track. But I wish they did that with matches, like kind of like the video game. They
correct,
don't do
correct.
that. No, we got the live crowd behind the plexiglass, but honestly, I like it. I think it's a great change for just now. And then when fans can come back, they're going to be so excited. The wrestlers are going to be so excited. You know, I'm the kind of guy that will move his TV from room to room in the house just because I like a little change. So I think this, it stinks. It's not the greatest situation, but at the same time, it's going to make you enjoy it even more when it's back. Distance makes the heart grow fonder, right? So I think not being able to have those fans, when I see them, I'm going to want to hug and kiss them. That's probably against protocol, though. So I probably won't do that. I'll probably stay 6 feet away, maybe do like the air fist bump. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't even know if I can fist bump people anymore when we come back. That's like my thing. I've been fist bumping plexiglass, giving them some window love, I've never done that before, I swear. But I've been giving window love. So, but we'll see. We'll see where it goes and how it goes.
Sure, Matt. Nice speaking to you, Matt, and hope to see you in India soon. Nice speaking to you.
Me too, bro. Thanks talking to you, bro.